Okay, then we have also here another life cycle of your solium, okay, where the humans serve here as the intermediate host. So the first one, we have here your accidental ingestion of the ova of the solium. So basically, this life cycle here occurring here in the pig. Okay, on the other hand, once the human, for example here, were able to ingest the egg, okay, of your T solium, so it would eventually try to, inside the body of the human here, try to hatch, liberate the hexagon embryo, having the 6 hooklets, which try to develop here your larva stage. So cysticercosis ang tawag doon. Where it try to develop, pag sinabing cysticercosis, that's developing here to become the larva stage in the form cysticercos. So, pwede siyang mag-develop here inside the body of the human by ingestion of the ova to become your, okay, the cysticercos larva. Okay, cysticercos cellulose, then eventually here, okay, pag nagkaroon ng cysticercosis here inside the body of the human, so most likely, hanggang dito lang siya, makakat na siya dito, become the dead end. It will not be converted here to become adult stage. Another one, having man as intermediate host here would be the regurgitation or the reverse peristalsis, where eventually the proglottids, okay, or eventually we have here the eggs of that is being swallowed back here, okay, to your, like for example, if you try to eat, ano naman, sa this one, regurgitative or reverse peristalsis naman, so ang na-acquire ng human here, you try to eat, for example, your pig or pork containing this, okay, that one, ito, nakain mo, ang meat or the pork here contains this one, sa circus larva, nakain ng patient. So, pupunta dito ang larva na yan sa kanyang MES, developing here to become adult, and eventually the adult here would try to shed the eggs. Okay, and the eggs of that, swallowed niya pabalik, swallowed back yung pabalik sa kanyang intestinal tract, then it will develop here again of another life cycle. It become here the reinfection. So again, ang cysticercosis natin na tinatawag or the development of the cysticercos larva, cysticercos cellulose from the egg could also occur in the human. So that's this one, accidental ingestion of the ova, pwede siya mangyari. Okay, again for the clarification, so the life cycle of your solium, most likely the entire life cycle with the egg, ingestion of the egg, developing to become the cysticercos larva, developing to the adult, usually occurring in the pigs. Human could also accidentally get infected by ingestion of the ova. You could, pag in-ingest mo ang ova, that will only be converted to the cysticercos larva and then eventually try to die. It will not develop to become your adult worms. However, another way you could also get infected by ingestion of the pork containing the cysticercos larva. So if you try to eat the pork containing the cysticercos larva on that, then that could eventually develop here to become adult worm inside your body. Because normally human will not get infected by ingestion of the ova, but rather it's the entire cycle, the ova to the egg to the larva, ova to the larva to the adult, is only occurring among pigs. Okay, so iba magiging life cycle niya, like if you're human, then you try to ingest the egg, it will just develop to become larva. Magiging cysticercos larva, then mas stop na ang life cycle. Pero pag na-ingest mo naman ang pork, for example, here containing the cysticercos larva, it would develop to your adult worm. But then again, normally you are not able to get infected by the ingestion of the ova. Okay, then we have here the pathology. So that's why human could serve as the definitive host or could also serve here as your intermediate host. Okay, then we have here the pathology. So again, the larva would have you're able to lodge different parts of your body, including your heart, including your brain, including your CNS, and also in your eyes. Pag pumunta sa eyes, we call that was ocular cysticercosis. Pag pumunta sa brain natin, that's your neurocysticercosis. And pag sa heart natin, again, heart, brain, something like that, those are very deadly. So we have also here the adult, since the adult found here in your gastrointestinal tract, you try to penetrate your gastrointestinal tract, and try to resolve here to your peritonitis. Peritonitis is the accumulation of your peritoneal fluid in your intestinal tract. Lumalaki ang tiyan ni patient because madaming fluid na peritoneal fluid on that. They would also have eosinophilia because this one is parasitic infection. Then leukopenia, mababa ang kanyang WBC count. Okay, for the diagnosis, you could have the DFS for identification of the ova. But then again, the problem with this one, hindi siya ganun ka-diagnostic. We could not actually differentiate the egg of your Taenia solium versus your Taenia saginata with just the DFS. You could also have the X-ray scan or the CT scan because again, the larva could lodge on your lungs or even in your heart or even in other part of your body or brain. Okay, then we have here the for the cysticercosis. So, pwede natin siyang ipalpate. May mabukol-bukol natin. Then, after that one is try to x-ray or CT scan. Pag nakita siya na cysticercosis cellulose siya, then you could remove that one by your biopsy. Then, India ink preparation here for identification of its genital for better identification of the species. Okay, the next one, we have here your Taenia saginata. Other name for that one is your beef tapeworm. Other name for that is your Taenia lata, then lata. Okay, so for the morphology, the adult worm measure 2 to 5 centimeters. That's 5 to 10 5 to 10 meters, much longer compared to your Taenia solium. This one, the proglotis here much longer, so 1,000 to 2,000 proglotis versus your 800 to 900 proglotis in your Taenia solium. And the scolex also differ. This one would have 4 cup suckers pero unarmed. Compared with your Taenia solium na arm siya with double count of 20 to 30 hooklets. Ito unarmed. Mature proglotis will always have the same irregular, alternate, lateral genital pore. This would have here many testes. Again, in the case of your solium, many testes din siya, pero trilobe. Tatlong ang kanyang ovary. This one would have bilobe na ovary. For the graviproglotis, so we have here more than 14 lateral branches compared with your less than 14 lateral branches in your Taenia solium. For their ova, same characteristics. So that one is your striated eggshell with the hexagon embryo. Again, that's what I'm saying here, that when you try to perform the DFS, you could not even differentiate if that one is your Taenia solium or your Taenia saginata. So, what we are reporting for that will be the Taenia species na lang, without speciating that one specifically for your saginata or your solium, because again, that one could not be differentiated with just morphology under the microscope. Okay, then we have for the life cycle, so same life cycle as with your Taenia solium. So get infected by the, okay, this is occurring here in your beef or mga cattle natin. So we have here, they get infected by the egg, try to ingest it one, to go to their MES, so their stomach, to try to hatch, liberating the hexagon embryo, which try to develop here to become the bladder worm for the larva stage. But this time, you call that one as your Cysticercus bovis. Ang tawag sa Taenia solium natin, Cysticercus cellulose. Then eventually that one developing here to become adult worm. The adult worm, through its suckers, try to attach to intestinal mucosa, developing to have the mature in the gravid proglotis. The gravid proglotis try to detach and try to shed their eggs, and then eventually try to continue the cycle here. So notice here that the cysticercosis, for example, cysticercosis, again, development of your worm to become your bladder worm, do not occur in the human here in your Taenia saginata. Pero 'di ba sa ating Taenia solium, pwede mong ingest ang ova that would develop here to become cysticercus cellulose inside the body of the human. But here in your Taenia saginata, it will never occur. Okay, now we go to your Hymenolepis species. For the first one, we have your Hymenolepis nana. Or other name for that one is your dwarf tapeworm. Other name for that is Hymenolepis fraterna. So for the morphology of adult worms, so this would have here 200 We will have here 200 proglottids. It's only 200. Okay, adult worm would have here 200 proglottids. And then the scolex would have here 4 cap suckers having armed with 20 to 30 hooklets. For your Taeniosolium, the hooklets double crown of 25 to 30 hooklets. This one would have here, again, 4 cap suckers having 20 to 30 hooklets. Okay, the mature proglottis will be described here as trapezoidal. We have here bilobe, dalawang ovary, tatlong testes. So one on the left side, and two on the right side of the ovary. Then for the ova, so this would have a characteristic striated eggshell having hexagon embryo made up of two membranes. Okay, the inner membrane sa loob is made up of dalawang polar thickening, and the two polar thickening here would contain, each of that contain 4 to 8 polar filaments. Okay, for the life cycle of your Hymenelepis nana, so there are 3 life cycle of that. The first one, we have your direct life cycle where human could transmit infection to another human without intermediate host. Okay, so the egg is being shed on the feces and try to eat here the egg, or the feces containing the egg. So it will go to your MES. Once at your stomach, it try to hatch, liberating your hexagon embryo. We try to develop here to become larva stage. You call the larva state as the cysticercoid. Then that would develop here to become adult worm. Then try to develop here the gravid proglottids, undergo fertilization. Okay, so they try to develop here to become to have the gravid proglottids. The gravid proglottids try to rupture the uterus, and by the process of polysis able to disseminate or shed the eggs in a feces. The second one, we have your indirect life cycle requires here the intermediate host. So the intermediate host for that could have your flea, it could also have your flower beetles. Okay, with that, the egg is being ingested by your intermediate host. And inside the body of that one, the egg hatch and liberates here the hexagon embryo, developing to become your cysticercoid larva. Inside the body of intermediate host, that would try to develop here to become adult worm, and then try to shed the eggs, and the cycle goes on. Okay, then we have here another life cycle for your Hymenelepis nana. So again, Hymenelepis nana could go as having an intermediate host, or could also go here without an intermediate host. Okay, so another one, the life cycle here involves the autoinfection. So in the autoinfection, so the ova is being ingested, go to the MES, then the stomach is try to hatch, liberating the hexagon embryo. Hexagon embryo try to develop here to become the cysticercoid larva. The cysticercoid larva develop to become adult worm, where the adult worm try to undergo fertilization, self-fertilization, where it try to develop to become having that gravid proglottids. Then the gravid proglottids try to shed or to rupture the uterus, or even by their apolysis, to try to shed the egg. The eggs here, without leaving the body of the host, try to hatch and try to develop again here into the larva. And then another cycle, we're going to continue with another cycle capable, and that would eventually lead to your autoinfection. Okay, so again, your Hymenelepis nana, so this could have here without the intermediate host. So that's your direct life cycle with man-to-man infection. You could also indirect, which requires intermediate host, or this one is also capable of your autoinfection. Okay, then we have here for the disease pathology. So we try to cause your enteritis, which is the inflammation of your gastrointestinal tract, because again, remember that the adult worm try to penetrate in your gastrointestinal tract and try to cause again inflammation of your intestinal tract because of that. Another one, loss of the appetite, abdominal pain with or without diarrhea, anorexia, and we have also here for the vomiting. Another thing about your cestode here, if you happen to see, for example, here in your animals having that worm, so you need to kailangan mo tanggalin lahat. Not only the gravid na segments, dapat hanggang scolex matatanggal mo in order for you then to remove here the worm pathology. Hindi pwede na ang makukuha mo lang ay mga segments niya without even recovering ang scolex na naka-attach intestinal mucosa. Dapat natatanggal mo din siya lahat.